of transition, change, and uncertainty, performing your best from home. My name's Mitzi. I'm the Assistant Director of Fitness and Wellness with Campus Recreation at Texas State University.
And my name is Josie Wielinski, Coordinator of Fitness and Wellness here at Texas State Campus Recreation. All right. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what all we will be covering today. So our agenda will be just identifying and becoming a little bit more aware of our new situation that we are in due to all of the change that has recently occurred. And we'll talk about defining a new normal and what that might mean for us, as well as some ways to reamp your routine, and then talk about staying healthy, staying fit, talk a little bit about nutrition, and then how to also engage in social wellness even when we are apart. And then we'll have a little bit of discussion at the end about how we can get started on working on some of these goals and just get a head start. So feel free though, if you have any questions for us, to just put those in the chat or anything that you've noticed that helps you to help add, because we know what we know, but you might have some awesome tips or tricks as well, and we'd love to share those with everyone. So feel free to use the chat to communicate, and we'll be doing our best to monitor that.
All right, before we really dive into it though, I want you all to just take a moment and realize, or just take a moment to think about what has changed since all of this happened, since right before spring break when, everything started coming to light, and how there would be potential closures and just those major different changes in our lives. Notice those changes. Maybe it's you move back home. If you're a student, you move back home with your parents, your family, so there's a lot more people around. Or maybe it's you're still here in town and maybe your roommate left. So think about those changes for a moment and kind of just let it set. Maybe we've just kind of started moving along without even realizing, oh, this is why my routine is off, or whatever the case may be. It may be causing some issues, or it may actually be causing some good things happening and we don't even realize. So as you think about that, just let it sit for a while and notice the type of interactions that you're having. So what has changed? It may be very obvious: location, like I said, family, pros and cons to that. So one of the pros with being able to move back home if you're a student is hopefully you get to be around your family more. But with that, I know I've talked to one of our group exercise instructors, it could also bring a little bit of chaos. And so your routine is completely off. You have to now change how you study. You have to now change how maybe you might have found another job, or just finding your space back home again. It's different when you go back home during the breaks, but now it's changed. So notice how that's affecting you mentally, socially, and how it's interfering, or maybe it's not, with your work. Or for some of us, we're still in town and we may or may not have roommates, and so there's less interaction. So I know for me personally, being at work, there's a lot of people, right? Working with Campus Rec. And so now having to have that isolation definitely has made a huge difference. And so at times I do feel a little bit like, okay, who do I talk to? Who do I text? That sort of thing, right? So it definitely helps to FaceTime and Zoom some of my coworkers just to get on the same page. What else? Let's see. So other things to consider, with these changes is later on in this talk, we are going to go over how we can troubleshoot some of that to kind of get us in a much better place and have more of a routine. So Josie, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't. That covers it. So next slide. Okay, so with all of these changes, we kind of pulled some of our student employees, talked amongst ourselves, and came up with a few things that have been challenges or barriers, um, or things that we just have to do differently now because of everything that's changed. So I know I think since because we're not really traveling, I'm either at home taking classes, I'm home working, or I'm in the office. I don't have to commute anywhere. So I have more perceived free time. And I also work and do school now in the same place that you live. And it's a challenge to separate those spaces where I notice my work is creeping into maybe my nighttime routine because I was already there doing it all day. Or I'm doing homework in bed because it's just easier and it's a new space to be in. We've also noticed a feeling of connection to our friends and our loved ones, just because mostly everything has to be virtual. Lack of focus or trouble focusing. This could be because of stress and anxiety surrounding certain situations you might be dealing with. It might be that you just are someone that really is very extroverted, likes to be out and around people, and being inside and home it presents a challenge and it's easy to get distracted. And then any changes in productivity as well. So, and this kind of goes hand in hand with that change in focus, and the being in the same place all the time. So I've noticed it's easy for me to get distracted by maybe one of my pets that I have at home or talking to my roommate a little bit more. So, how can I still stay focused on my work and still honor those relationships and create these boundaries? And then, how to navigate your health during this time. And this is a huge one. And we can't go to the gyms anymore, and food is different, getting groceries is different now. So what are some tips and strategies that we can slightly maybe adjust or just take a new approach on in order to still live a healthy lifestyle? So that was just a little bit more detail. And do you have anything to add, Mitzi?
Nope.
All right.
So, kind of going off of what I mentioned earlier, moving into a routine, whether we wanted to or not, we have to have that new routine, right? So, same responsibilities. We're still trying to graduate. We're still trying to accomplish our homework and get through finals, or we're trying to, if you know you're a professor, you're trying to get all that prepared and how you had to transition into that. And yeah, it was definitely unfair, but we all pushed through whether we wanted to or not, because we still are here to serve our what we have to do in our jobs and our students, and also work as a team with our coworkers. So finding that new normal, I know you've heard it plenty of times. I'm kind of getting tired of hearing, oh, the new normal, and it's like, it's so annoying. But at the same time, it's reality. It is going to have to be a different way of doing things, like she mentioned. Even just grocery shopping has changed, and maybe you already did curbside pickup, but now it's like you don't really have as much of a choice. So it does kind of, you know, tap into a different way of feeling. So to help with your routine and help you keep up with work and class, what are, some things, and Josie, feel free to chime in here. What are some things that you've noticed that you've done? I think when we asked some of our instructors for how they've been able to transition, a great tip that was given to us was finding those set spaces at home and knowing that, hey, this is a spot where I'm going to do my homework. This is where I'm going to have my Zoom interactions with my coworkers. And then this is a place where I'm going to just relax, watch TV or whatever it may be, and read a book. If you start to navigate those spaces differently, then I think it does help with clearing your mind and knowing what to focus on, being able to be more productive. To help you maintain a little bit more of that routine, try to wake up around the same time every day, even if you don't have class to attend. Wake up a little bit earlier. Maybe you don't have to wake up at 7 anymore, but maybe you don't wake up at noon. So consider still waking up at a reasonable time to give you enough hours in the day to relax, to get some homework in, to get some movement in, and accomplish some small tasks a little bit at a time. get dressed. Maybe you don't have to look as fancy or anything like that, but maybe you switch out your pajama pants every now and then and actually wear some jeans, or you might do your hair a little bit, whatever that may be, because it does make a difference and you kind of feel a little bit more presentable even if nobody's watching you or looking at you. But even when you get on Zoom, I think it kind of helps you feel more like yourself. So other things too, to start off your day, I think many of us may have heard this or not. I will admit I don't do this, I should, but to get something done and be accomplished and start off your day right, wake up and do your bed. I try to make it easy, so all I have to do is just throw the covers over, but somehow it just doesn't work. So I need to work on that. Think about little things like that. What is one small task you can do every day, aside from brushing your teeth, because I think you should be doing that anyways, but something else that makes you feel like, okay, that's one win for the day, and it's only been 30 minutes since I woke up. Think of those small little things that could potentially help you start off with the win. Um, and then, but obviously be realistic. Setting your alarms is very important. Like I said, maybe you roll out of bed and just meditate for a little while. It might be something as simple as that, just sitting up in your bed, taking some time to breathe. Even though we do have more free time in a way, do we really? We still have those same responsibilities to accomplish. So take that moment to just be and breathe and do that for yourself. Honor yourself every day as soon as you wake up that way by just taking a moment for yourself. It could even be something as simple as maybe you do a little bit of yoga, or you do some movement, you get up, walk around, get your blood flow going. So I guess what I'm trying to get to it is just having a little bit of a ritual can go a long way. And who likes coffee, right? Just a little bit. Some of us love it more than we probably should. Maybe we try a little bit more of hydrating with some water first. We'll get to the coffee eventually, because I know that's important to get us through the day, or because it tastes good. So other ways to get motivated. I absolutely love this tip from one of our personal trainers. Her name's Julianne. One of the tips she gave us was to just start off with a little dance party. So she'll put on one of her favorite songs and just kind of dance it out. And I thought that was really cool, really cute. And why not? And today is International Day of Dance, something like that. So if you haven't had your dance party yet, make sure you do that. So yeah, dance it out. Other ideas given to us is journaling or meditating, as I mentioned earlier. But with journaling, sometimes you just need to write it down, get it down on paper, and get those feelings out. In my case, maybe it's a matter of I need to accomplish at least 3 things before this time. And I try to split up my day that way as well, so I can get those little tasks done. So it could even be not necessarily journaling, but you may just have a mini to-do list that it's like, what are 3 things I could do for my job, or for my studying, or my class? All right, let's see, what else do we got here? Having a little bit of rewards planned for yourself throughout the day. It could be something like, hey, I worked for an hour and a half straight, which that's amazing. I have to take breaks constantly, not just because I'm trying to get my standing on my Apple Watch, but just to keep moving. Maybe that little reward is like, okay, I'm going to just go outside for a little walk, get some sunshine. Or it might just be like, take a little mental break. Even when before all this happened, we were kind of attached, some of us, to our laptops or our desktops or computers and screens. I feel like we definitely are even more now, right? So get up, walk around, and your body will thank you later. So take those breaks. I mentioned earlier, plan your day into chunks. If you are able to just split it up in maybe working 30 minutes at a time, go for a little walk, do some movement, and then come back 30 minutes at a time. Maybe it's 45 minutes for you. Find what works for you and try to stick with that as best as you can. If you need to avoid any kind of distractions, some of you may have your email on your phone. I don't know if that's a good idea, but if you do, hopefully you have your email on your laptop too. Put your phone somewhere else and just focus on what you're doing, especially if you have any deadlines to meet. finals are coming up, right? So right now it's very important to just be less distracted, work on those goals, on those small little tasks to reach your goals of finishing that paper that's due. And who knows how long those papers are required to be now. So I've been out of school for a little bit, so I'm glad I didn't have to do any of that. And then just using those breaks to keep your mind refreshed. Your brain needs that little recharge. So take a moment to consistently take those breaks. Plan it out if you need to. All right. Take it away, Josie.
Yeah, I just want to circle back to bedtime. Did you hit on that? And
Make
good.
your bed, but if you have more to add to that, please do.
Oh, I was gonna say before you go when you go to bed. So going to
Oh, sorry.
sleep.
No, I didn't talk about that.
Um, I definitely suggest trying to limit your screen time before you go to bed. Um, just to separate yourself from the blue light, separate yourself from the stimulation of that screen, and maybe you log off. You still watch your show. Trust me, I know that's important. Still watch your show, and then maybe you journal and just like write down three good things that happened that day. I know like that is something I've started about a year ago, on and off because I'm not perfect at it, but it helps me to wind down and helps me to just breathe a little bit. Maybe you drink some tea, read a book, take that time to medicate or meditate, and then also try to stay away from caffeine for like that last, even into the afternoon if you can. It might help you sleep a little bit better. So those are just a few quick tips to help you go to sleep. And sometimes even if you're someone who just the night gets away from you and all of a sudden you look over and it's midnight, maybe just set an alarm. I know one of my phones has that app where it notifies you when it's time to go to bed. So take advantage of those tools. And then okay, our
Yes, thank you
next.
for that. I know I mentioned like waking up at a consistent time. Yeah, finding a consistent time to go to bed will be beneficial.
And so I've been thinking about this concept of exercise snacks and how can we stay healthy during this time. And I can't take credit for it. I saw it on Instagram somewhere else, but I really liked the message that you don't have to move a ton for a long amount of time, but just little bits here and there for throughout the day, 10 to 20 minutes, even 5 minutes. Any type of movement is going to be better than nothing. And I know we already sit in our chairs a lot, but we're not getting up to go to our car, to walk to our car, parking in the parking garage, walking to the office. So that movement has been eliminated and it's probably more than likely replaced with more sitting. And so make sure you take some time to just find a little bit of space to make that movement. And one of our trainers was like, I know he said, I've been really struggling with how to work out, but I've just come to peace with myself that it's gonna look different and that's okay. And if I can get in my steps and if I can um, do something different and just maybe stretch or do some yoga, it helps me mentally that much more. And so I think, yeah, that's the key takeaway for me in this time is just any type of movement is better than nothing. Up next, I'm going to skip over online resources and circle back to that. So with getting in this movement, some ideas. Take a break and just go for a walk. Sometimes I even just walk around my apartment or down the hall and back just to change up my scenery if I don't have a ton of time. Stretch in your chair. We're working on some videos to get out to you guys. And then we also have a couple of stretching classes throughout the middle of the day on Tuesdays and Thursdays that you can log on to just like live and stretch in your chair, stretch at work and whatever you're wearing at the moment. And also just meditate to step away from that break and give your brain, that mental breather. And then if you do want to take it up a notch, you still want to get your heart rate up, get a little sweaty. I don't underestimate your body weight. I think that's something that I realized in this time, how cool it is to see what I can do with just my body, and maybe like a ledge on the ledge of my coffee table, or a towel that I found around the house. So there's tons of different things. Use the laundry detergent as a weight, because that gym equipment's expensive, and books in a backpack, things that you have around the house are better than nothing, to help make it interesting and keep it fresh. And maybe it's just 20 minutes at a time, and or you pick every hour on the hour, you do like 20 jumping jacks and 10 squats, something that just gets you up and out of your chair. And what was that?
I said I like that. Something quick and easy.
Um, okay. And then as far as online resources, so you may be aware that we have our Zoom live schedule, and some on-demand classes as well, but a lot of other, and we have also our mileage challenge. So you can sign up for that, as well as a virtual 5K, just a shameless plug. But there's plenty of other resources out there if it's not exactly what you're looking for. So use this time to maybe try find something new. A lot of different fitness apps are doing free trials for the time being. So take advantage of that, and just see if you find something that interests you. Do you have anything else to add?
If you do decide to use any at-home type of equipment, or your coffee table or couch, whatever it may be, just make sure it's sturdy enough and safe. I think you mentioned like moving and making that space, just because you want to make sure that you're staying safe and you're not going to hurt yourself. So be aware of those type of things as well.
You also don't want to break your coffee table.
No, don't do that. All right, so how do we stay energized throughout all of this, right? Food. Think of it more as focusing on nourishing your body and to keep you alert and to keep you on task. Food is fuel for us to be able to move, to be able to think, and just go about our daily activities. And so no matter how your life has changed, you still need to fuel your body to be able to perform at your best. I mentioned earlier, hydrating. Keep your water bottle close by, consistently stay hydrated, because even though we may feel like we're not moving as much, we're attached to our desks or our computer still, or that station that you're going to make where you just focus on work and homework. You need to be able to move around, but you still need to be able to stay hydrated, especially if hopefully after this you take away being able to move a little bit more. You want to make sure that you're getting plenty of water. And right now is probably a good time to start practicing a little by little some intuitive eating. So with intuitive eating, think of it more as listening to your hunger cues and knowing when to eat. And it's, hey, when I'm hungry, and not just because when you're bored, or not just because I'm not sure what else to do. Take that moment to just kind of sit with what's going on and just really focus on listening to your own physical hunger cues. This is a process that may take a while to develop, especially because we, in the past, we have like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or we have set times, or we kind of just go with the flow. Now we have that moment where it's like, what day it is, what day is it, I should say, or what time is it? And it kind of goes by really fast. So take a moment to pay attention to when your body needs to be refueled. And it might even be just a little bit of snack, that may have changed to how we eat. Take also this moment to just allow yourself to somewhat eat what you want. It's not a time for you to just be like, oh, I need to count my calories or anything. It's more of like, hey, this is for me to be able to continue to do my daily activities, and think more of being happy. Think more about nourishing your body, and to feel good, just like the slide says, right? What else? Anything to add? I'm trying to think.
I think,
A good thing before, sorry, one thing I did forget to mention, kind of circling back to before about setting that routine. If you're struggling of when you do need to eat, add those timings to your routine. Like, okay, I'm going to wake up and try to have a little bit of breakfast every day. It might be something small, but just start that way and then start building it into your schedule so that you know when it's a good time to have a little bit of a snack or when it might be dinner time, even if it's changed, but at the same time, still listening to those hunger cues first so that you know, okay, this is a good time for me to eat. I need to eat now, you know. What else?
yeah, I was going to say something very similar to that. And also take the time, use your meals or your snacks as a break as well. And just focus on your food, and that will help you notice when you maybe become full rather than eating when you're distracted. And I think with this topic, just remember to respect yourself and your body. And um, I'm trying to word this eloquently, and I tried to this morning, and it also didn't work out perfectly. But eat food that you love, eat the foods that you like, and have your treats in moderation. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have have a brownie, and you can eat a salad for lunch, and it's gonna be okay. I promise. And this is a time where just give yourself some grace. I like that phrase a lot, and don't be too hard on yourself about that. You all mess up. I don't think it's a mess up. It's just notice where those things happen and where you start to feel disappointed in yourself, and separate that judgment as best as you can. Easier said than done.
Right. Now, for some of us, food is a very social thing. And if you still need that social aspect to it, it just kind of hit me right now. Um, the other day, I was talking to some of my instructors, and I was like, all right, y'all, I need to eat something. So I just kind of took them along on the Zoom and just started, like, made a quick little salad. And next thing you know, I mean, I was listening to my body. It was great. It was a good salad. But at the same time, it was kind of nice for them to just kind of be around, and it was fine. I didn't feel awkward, even though, like, I don't know how many times I kept, dropping my salad ingredients. And my point is, make it a social thing. Maybe you still connect with your friends and family that may not be with you at this time, and just be like, hey, I'm going to sit down and eat and chat with you. And I think that kind of helps a lot to still feel that connection. And even though they kind of made fun of me because they're like, oh, there's some videos where people watch other people eat. And I'm like, what? So it was just kind of funny. And we just played off of that. And yeah, it kind of made me feel like everything, like just having that connection. And it wasn't bad at all. Also, we put on here foods that keep. Right now is probably a good time to be able to purchase those type of foods if it's available to you. I know everyone is in a different situation, but to give you some tips on the kinds of foods that can last a little bit longer if you're not able to go to grocery shopping as often is potatoes. Frozen fruits and vegetables are great right now. I love to make smoothies, and so it's really easy to just throw in a little bit of milk and some frozen berries or strawberries, that sort of thing. I like to throw in some yogurt every now and then too to make it a little bit more thick. With veggies, those keep really well. Right now is a great time to be able to just pull it out, cook them, and they're good to go. Dried fruits is also important to be able to have that little snack. Canned foods, I think that's an obvious one. If you are able to stock up a little bit, those will last you a good time. And then dried beans, lentils, rice, and quinoa, those type of grains will be super helpful, and legumes to be able to cook dinner and make something real quick. So, and if you haven't yet, you need to check out our Texas State Rec Instagram. There's a fun little recipe on there. Thanks to Josie, she did a kick butt job. So check it out if you haven't. And it's a really good, easy to make meal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then up next, we're going to talk about staying connected, staying socially well. Um, so I think this is something, as being kind of a nervous, anxious person, I never liked to reach out to people before, but that's changed over the past few years. I've become more extroverted. But if that is something that you can relate to, don't be afraid to reach out to those people and make time for conversation. I maybe even schedule this into your routine, where I think me and a couple of my friends from college, we're in different time zones right now, so we have been zooming on the weekends and just finding a time, and that's been like a regular little ritual thing. um and it's nice to get that break and also get that social interaction. And when you reach out, I promise you that person is going to be so excited to hear from you. You have no idea. So just be that first person to make that step and give them a little kindness, and they'll spread that kindness, and it'll be like the ripple effect. Another idea, just to kind of keep yourself busy, keep yourself in touch with creativity or things that you enjoy. Find an old hobby, a new hobby. Maybe you just lean into a hobby that you already have and share them online. Show people what you're doing, because I mean, I know I've watched so many tasty videos. It's a little crazy. I've also tried to dance. That's a new thing too. So so this could be things like cooking, knitting, art, whatever kind of has been speaking to you, because I think I've talked to so many people and a lot of my friends, and that like there's a lot of things that they're kind of like, maybe I should try this. And it's like, why not? If you can maintain your responsibilities, maintain your lifestyle, and try this new thing out, why not? You never know what it could turn into. And then also, if you used to have a study group, or have like a closer knit type of major that's a little bit smaller, or have a few friends from classes, get together on Zoom or FaceTime and study together. I thought this was, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but it's so easy, and help each other out, get some socialization in, and maybe help someone remember what assignments are due when, because sometimes I know we struggle with that. And then you could also hop on to FaceTime and do fitness challenges. So let's say you put 5 minutes on the clock, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want with your friend. And one person does one burpee. Then the other person does one burpee. And then it's 2 and 2 and 3. And you just see how many burpees you guys can get in, and in that amount of time. Or you can do any exercise, really. See how long you can hold planks, and just get that time to move a little bit, get out of your seats, and socialize. And then this one has been one of my favorite ones to do, go old school. So I've written a few letters to some friends, and to my grandma especially, because she loves them. But just writing some letters, and just also pen to paper, getting away from my computer has been so nice for me during this time as well, and very relaxing and calming. So I wrote that letter, sent it in the mail, gotten a few back, and it's been just funny to talk about it with my friends, because they're like, yeah, your letter sounded exactly like you, and I read it in your voice. And also, I came up with this idea. Remember how we used to make, or maybe you used to make, friendship bracelets or boondoggles? See if you have some of that stuff around, and just send it in the letter with them. And it'll probably just bring up some old memories and that type of thing. So anything else to add, Mitzi, on that one?
I think Josie and I actually, we have to collaborate on a lot of things. So there's been moments where, because you mentioned, having that study session still through Zoom or FaceTime, it may seem kind of weird, but Josie and I collaborate so much that we've gone to the point where we get comfortable, we get caught up like doing our work and we're still on FaceTime or something. Push through the awkwardness. It's really not that bad, and it's kind of nice to know, like, being able, like she said, you can reach out for help, or hey, how did you do this? And it is kind of nice. I got a little ahead of myself earlier, but yeah, even just having dinner time with them and having those moments. One of the things I started doing more and being more intentional about is reaching out to my parents because, well, my mom texts me like every day, to make sure I'm still alive because that's how she is. And so I started trying to beat her to the punch because sometimes I'll go days and I get so busy. She's like, wow, you forgot about your mom. And it's like, okay, no, I didn't. So I've been trying to daily, every day, be more intentional to just send her a text, send her a picture of me in my mask, or me in my new hairdo, whatever it might be. And just the joy that she gets from that, like it's definitely worth it. So maybe it is reaching out for those of you whose parents are not here right now. um, if you're able to reach out to them, FaceTime and see what your little nephew's doing. My niece has been so sweet lately to constantly send me Snapchats of my nephew. And so it's random things and it's just kind of nice and it keeps me going throughout the day. So yeah, I really like that. Other things before we move on to the next thing, I just kind of want to quickly remind you all there's a lot of things that we talked about today, but start with one thing and just taking that step forward. And I want you to take a moment, especially if maybe any of you were taking notes or as you're just kind of thinking about everything we spoke about. I want you all to now try to figure out what it is that you're going to do a little bit different or step forward. What is that first step that you all are planning to take? So I want you to take this moment to write 3 things down. You could probably put it on your phone, but since we like writing letters now and going old school because it's different, maybe you write it down this time. What are 3 things that you are going to try to do to try to build that routine or help you with your mental state or physical and social well-being? So I want you to take a minute to do that. So we'll sit in the quiet for a little while you figure it out. We're gonna do it too, yes. And then we'll share with you what we come up with. All right, as you all finish up, or maybe at least you have 1 or 2, I'll go ahead and go first. One of the main things that I've really have wanted to be a little more intentional with is being able to actually read a book. It's been a while since I've read anything that's not a fitness magazine or article or my textbooks for continuing education, blogs, Instagram, and I mean anything. It's definitely changed in over the years that it's like, wow, I haven't actually read a book. So one of the first steps that I'm going to take is at least pick a book to read and just place it at my next to my bed on my nightstand. And that way every day to kind of help wind down and get ready for bed, I want to be able to read even if it's just a few pages. So that's mine. One of mine.
I'm up next. So, one of mine is reading was one of mine, so I won't copy that because that's just boring. One of mine is to just check in with myself a little bit more mentally and have some downtime. And I've been meaning to do this for a very, very long time, but I'm going to try and contact a counselor or a therapist, whether it's here on campus or someone that I can talk to, probably virtually for at least a little bit, just to help me kind of sort through all my thoughts. Because right now it's a lot, and work, school, whatever it is that you're focused on, it's totally been how we used to do it. And that's something that's hard for me to process. And I'm starting to realize like I probably need to outlet that and maybe not do that just on my mom or just on my friends or that type of thing. So um, I will be placing a meeting for myself tomorrow during my lunch break to look into those resources.
All right. Somebody posted in Mind Out is a good place that is doing virtual appointments. So
You.
check it out, Josie.
Well, I'm
Does
writing.
anybody else want to post in the comments or the chat and what your first or one of your 3 things you plan to work on towards your routine or just trying something else during this time? Feel free to add it. Don't be shy. You can be a little shy. We can't see you, so.
We got one that says to cook more.
Yes,
Good one. Um, if you have a roommate,
definitely more movement. So that's something else that I've been doing too is I think some of us don't think of it more of exercise, think of it more as movement because our exercise right now is looking a whole lot different and you all need to know that that's okay. So yes, more water, less coffee. I was telling Josie too earlier, I'm like, okay, every day my goal is to just drink this much of my water by this time. And so definitely hydrate. What else?
started the live video trainings and love them. They really motivated me. One of my goals is more movement, so walking around my neighborhood. Yeah,
Yeah. So if you're gonna move around more, I highly recommend you do join our another shameless plug, our mileage challenge.
Mhm.
It's free, and you do need to just download Strava, and that's being put on by our sports club area. And I think it's great just to kind of it holds you accountable a little bit. So check it out. Get your friends to get involved. I think it'd be really great.
Yeah,
Practice dancing. Yes.
yes. More water, less coffee. Yeah, as disappointing as sometimes that is. And then I like the in preparation of your work day, stop rolling straight out of bed and going straight to the computer into work mode. So relatable, but yeah, making time just to have a little bit of a break before you roll into the day. Very, very helpful for me.
Yeah. At least sit up and take a breath.
Yeah.
Tell yourself you got this. Oh, one of the things we didn't mention was affirmations. Those can definitely go a long way. I actually my dining table, it's actually you can write on it and it's like a dry erase dining table. So if you have something like that where maybe you just post it up or maybe it's just a sticky note for you, write it on there. Sometimes I write things on there to remind myself like, hey, don't forget to buy milk or whatever it is. But encourage yourself. You know, you should be your own like biggest cheerleader. And sometimes we're just so hard on ourselves, but like we mentioned earlier, love yourself, love the fact that, hey, this is some good time to just be with yourself and learn more about yourself, encourage yourself. So definitely some good affirmations would be good. Somebody mentioned that they couldn't see the chat. I'm not sure if there's a menu on your Zoom down below which should show the chat if you click on it. So you might just need to enable that. Sometimes it's hidden. If you just log in, it won't automatically pop up. If you go to our website at Campus Recreation or just Texas State and search Campus Recreation, you will find the link on there. And I'm not sure if I could pull it up real quick and share it, but yeah, you can go ahead and find that information on how to join that mileage challenge. It ends on Monday, so you still have a few days to get it in for sure.
Yeah. And so it also, you need to switch on if you want everyone to see it. Mitzi and I are the panelists. So if it's all panelists, it'll just go to Mitzi and I. But if you change it to all panelists and attendees, everyone will get it. Yeah.
All right.
There's also the virtual 5K on May 4th, right? May 4th.
I believe so.
Up on that. Oh, somebody put in the chat that LinkedIn has some great trainings supporting your well-being during times of change and uncertainty. Path is pretty good. Great tips on meditation, movement, and chair workouts. Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Any other, we are almost getting ready to wrap up. So if anyone else has any questions or wants to share their first step of action towards their mini goal during this time, please feel free to share or ask us those questions. Or maybe you have some tips or something that's worked for you and you want to share with us, by all means, please let us know. Because, and while you're doing that, while you're typing that in or thinking about that, I do want to give a shout out to all our group exercise instructors and our trainers. They've been doing a great job. We are still training and we are still offering those virtual classes and on-demand videos, and they've been great at being able to transition. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, but they knew we were there for them, and we were like, we're going to do this, we're doing this together. And so luckily it's worked out and they're doing a phenomenal job. So check that out. We have our summer classes starting early June. I do want to give a quick shout out to Isabel, Becca, Alondra, David, Julianne, Mariana, and Val. They did share a lot of these tips with us, and so they helped make this happen. And so thank you all for that.
Someone just shared in the chat that they've been doing 15 minutes of learning French on the Duolingo app.
All right.
That's awesome.
So, hey, that's something we could, y'all could do, is try to figure out, like, get your partner, one of your friends, to learn it and then try to practice via FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
That way you got to apply it. If not, you're going to forget it.
You're welcome for the information. Does anyone have any questions as well on anything that we've discussed today? Anything that you didn't think we covered? Ooh, use the cell phone and go outside to walk with your coworker during a call. Helps get away from the computer screen. I like that a lot.
I've done that before and it is kind of nice. So get some sunshine. And I feel like that's something some of us probably did before, but now it's a little more important and more intentional. So yeah, thanks for throwing that in the chat for sure. FaceTime has been amazing lately because yeah, you could Zoom, but FaceTime, it has a different feel. And one of my friends finally got an Apple phone, and so an iPhone, and so we were just having fun with all the different emojis and all the things you can do on there. So take advantage of that right now. Okay, so there is an app called Slowly that connects you with people all around the world with similar interests. You basically send letters and they take a while to receive, like a real letter, something to look forward to throughout the day. Yeah, I like that. Keeps you going, right? Keeps you motivated too, to be like, okay, I got something waiting for me. Yeah, thank you for sharing. All right. Feel free to add more if you need to. If not, thank you all so much for joining us. I hope that you can at least have one takeaway from today that you can work towards, and hopefully it does make all the difference. We love our jobs, and so we want to be able to provide as much of this type of tips to you all as we can. And so thank you for joining us. Josie did an amazing job of helping set this up, so thank you, Josie, for doing this.
Anytime. And also, if you guys have any questions that you think of while you're trying to fall asleep at night, like I do all the time, feel free to shoot us an email at recfitness@txstate.edu, and questions just about anything, follow up. But we will also, thank you for putting it in the chat, Mitzi. We'll also be posting the recording of this. So if you thought there was something that someone could benefit from, just plug us. We would really appreciate it, and we'll hopefully have that website, it up on our website within the week. So thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate your support, and we love you.
Yay. All right, time to go make some more tasty videos.
Oh, it's on my list for tonight. Lentil burgers.
Oh, for those of you who are still on, if you have any ideas on what kind of videos you want us to see, like to do, so we can post on our website, please let us know, because we have one way of thinking, right? But maybe you're like, hey, what about this? We would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, so send those, email those our way if you do have any ideas. For sure. Help us keep our creative juices flowing. Workout videos for my preschool class. So, quick story on that if you're still on. Um, I took a session one time with a presenter, like an exercise presenter, and she would actually have like a workout where they would have to find the ball. So when she was playing it out, she's like, "Where's the ball? Where's the ball?" And it was so cheesy, so silly, but it's when it's preschool kids, yeah, that's a good way to get them moving, and even though they don't know what's going on. So that'd be interesting to do. Find our inner child and just be in preschool again. Oh, to be that young again. No care in the world, right?
I'm going to stop the recording.
All right.